Hey, Coach Kyle here, and I had a call with an athlete yesterday, and they asked me about supplements. So I thought I would give a general rundown of my supplement advice. And I do have a degree in clinical nutrition, and nutrition is kind of my second hobby other than running. So here are my thoughts and considerations. So I'm not too huge on supplement taking in general, but if you look at the literature, the research, if you ask the experts, there are a few trends that encompass 90% of the supplemental recommendations out there. And that's typically what I like to recommend is the common denominator among the majority of the supplement information and recommendations from the experts. So now, what are the recommendations? Well, in regards to supplements for athletics, there are really just a couple, and it's post-workout protein and pre-bed protein and caffeine. So we'll start with caffeine. And I usually will simply have some coffee before a race. I drink coffee most mornings, so it's one of the few supplements that will almost always 100% of the time benefit the athlete. If you look at studies and the research, there is basically no more consistently beneficial performance enhancing legal supplement better than caffeine. And then when it comes to supplements and whatnot, I usually recommend just you need to recover. You need to recover and adapt from the harder training. And to do that, protein is essential. And there are two major times that taking protein is important, and that is immediately after a harder, fatiguing workout and before bed. So we'll start with after a workout. Whey protein is the gold standard, and it's a fast-acting, absorbing protein. So you work out, and within a half hour, you take a protein supplement. Good to go. Before bed, casein is a slower release protein. So that means that this slow release protein acts slower, it's absorbed slower when you're sleeping. So what you can do is you take a whey protein supplement immediately after a hard training session, and you take a casein supplement right before bed. And milk is actually 80% casein. So what I actually do is just drink milk. I'll drink a glass of milk before bed. And while that's not typically what the research does, 80% of the protein in milk is casein. So I'm good to go with that. Plus, the milk is a more well-rounded food. It's actually a food. So I go with milk pre-bed. As for general supplements, there are a few that you will find commonly recommended. And I'm going to start with iron. And iron is one where you shouldn't just take it willy-nilly. You should only take it if you're anemic. And taking iron with vitamin C is very helpful. Taking iron not with coffee and tea, which can decrease the absorption of iron, is helpful. But remember, only take iron if you've tested low, if you've tested anemic. But if you're feeling generally run down and you're not sure why, maybe you should get tested. Otherwise, general supplements are vitamin D, calcium, magnesium, and maybe if you want a multivitamin. So we'll start with the multi. All of the supplements that I take, including I have some protein from them, comes from Thorne FX. And Thorne is a very large, well-rounded company. They have tons of supplements. And this is from their performance line. This is the multivitamin. I like about them is they have a couple different kinds of multis, and they have one that's an AM and a PM specific one. So, for example, if iron is better in the morning, pre any coffee or meal, then it wouldn't be in the evening supplement, which might have vitamin D in it because vitamin D is fat soluble, better absorbed with a meal with fat. What I like most about Thorne is that they are extremely strict in their certifications and their quality. And I had to look it up, but Thorne is certified under the FDA, the U.S. Food and Drug Administration, but it's also certified and it has received a A1 rating for GMP compliance by the Australian Therapeutic Goods Administration. And from what I understand, the Australian Therapeutic Goods Administration is super strict. So it's like the gold standard among supplement certifications is this one, and they meet the standard. So my multis, my I have amino acids downstairs. They're from Thorne. So when it's not cheap, I will admit, the multivitamin here, 2 capsules is a serving size. I only take one. I figure one serving size, I figure half a serving size of what I believe is maybe one of the best multivitamins available is better than a full serving of some cheap Walmart multivitamin. So it's not cheap, but I do split it up, and I figure that's still okay. So those are my supplement recommendations. They're pretty general. If you have any actual specific needs that need to be addressed, any deficiencies, you need to talk to a registered dietitian. And that's what I went to school for, but I chose to take a different path. But general wellness, general guidelines, I would go with vitamin D. I take 5,000 international units once a week with meal because it's fat soluble. So vitamin D, calcium, magnesium together in the evening. I take iron and vitamin C in the morning if I take it in time where I can take it before I drink my morning coffee. And pre-workout, caffeine, post-workout, and right before bed, milk. Or not milk, well, protein, whey protein right after working out, milk, casein right before bed. That's what I recommend. What do you do? What are your thoughts? What are your thoughts? What are you thinking? Give me some feedback. I'm curious what you have to say.